Hello, and welcome to the Lightworker Diaries, a space for reflection, truth-telling, and soulful remembering. My name is Tiffany, and I am a truth teller, a mystic, and a mirror. These are transmissions from my heart to yours, an archive of channeled wisdom, lived stories, and the real work of becoming. May something in here stir something in you. Hello, everyone. I realized as I was sitting down to record this episode that some of you are just getting to know me, and you might not know that I'm in the midst of a huge career transition, a quantum leap, if you will. And even some of you who know me well might not know the challenges and the inner workings of what I'm going through in this transition. So I thought I'd share a little bit about that today. And really, this all starts about 8 years ago when I left corporate America for the first time. And at the time, I knew that I was meant to be doing something more, but I didn't know what that was. And I left a very traumatic space. I left without a plan. And I was very, I don't want to say ignorant, but very innocent to what I was walking into, because up until that point in my career, I had only ever worked in corporate America. I didn't have any entrepreneurial experience. After I left that job, shortly thereafter, I was introduced to life coaching, and I felt a lightning bolt of awareness shock my system and say, this is what's next. And so that's what I did. I went through coach training. I started a coaching business. I started hosting events and doing a lot of other things in that personal development realm. And I was having a great time, but was also not able to do certain functions of my business that were required in order to have a sustainable business that you could live off of. And I stressed so much about those things, particularly sales, marketing, and the money aspect of running a business. And I tried so hard, so hard. I kept going. I had so many ideas. I would put them out there, and I was running full force into the oblivion, trying to make things work. And of course, I got burned out. And so I remember so clearly the day that I surrendered. I sat down with my journal in hand. I opened it up to a blank page and I said, Universe, I give up. I give up. I can't do this any longer. I'm stressed out. It's not fun. I'm going to tell you what I would like to do, and I just need you to show me the way. And from there, I sat down and I wrote out a manifestation list, a list of 10 to 15 qualities that I was seeking. And it was everything from wanting to be able to dress the way that I wanted to dress, to being valued by my colleagues, to a very specific salary number. And I remember writing it down, closing down my journal, and thinking, we'll just see what happens. The next day, I had this internal pull, this intuitive nudge to go on Indeed, of all things. And I saw a couple job postings. I think there were actually 5 in total. I realized at that point in time I needed to update my resume in order to apply for a job, which was such a blessing because my self-confidence had become so shook that I needed to go back and remember all of the experience that I had. And that gave me this beautiful confidence boost, even just doing my resume. I applied for 5 jobs. I had 3 interviews with 3 different companies, and I got 2 job offers all within the course of 10 days. And I remember thinking, wow, this happened rather quickly. And I went back and looked at my manifestation list, and of the 2 job offers, they both fit almost to a T, but one was just a little bit closer. And I picked it. And it was a full-time job offer working for a remote company. And It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed in that moment. It was going back to doing the work that I was doing before, which wasn't the best. I wasn't super excited about doing accounting, but also I needed my brain to just think differently. I needed to put myself in a different mental environment to shake things up. And that's what this job did. And so all of the life coaching work that I had done wound down just perfectly at the right time. I allowed myself to continue writing because that's something I've done for the last 25 years. And I really just let myself work. And there was definitely a part of me that wanted to do something else. I still had this inner calling, this inner knowing that I was meant for something more, but I also needed to let my system just rest. I had been so stressed out about the money or lack thereof over the last 4 years before that, that my system was like, we can't handle anymore. We just need to do the bare minimum here. So I worked and got myself back into the accounting rhythms. After about a year, I was invited to take a team lead position, which I really loved. 6 months after that, I was invited to join the leadership team as a director of team and customer success. Loved that move as well. I was given the opportunity to build career success plans and do coaching for our team, as well as customer success plans and a little bit of light coaching for clients, which was super fun and a whole new aspect of coaching to add to my experience. A little bit longer after that, the other director moved on, and I ended up stepping into the role of director of operations, basically running the entire company next to the CEO. Every step forward felt better and better until it didn't. I didn't realize until I was sitting in the director of operations role that I'm not the kind of person who loves to show up and be consistent in solving problems for everyone every day. I have a very sweet and sensitive soul that says, let me take care of that for you. And when you're doing that for everybody, it gets exhausting. My boss and I both did Colby assessments. And the more that I looked at all these different components that were coming together, the more that I realized I am much more entrepreneurial than I had given myself previous credit. And so as things were happening in my corporate job, there was also this underlying issue, this energetic presence that I could see but couldn't really talk to anybody about because not everyone speaks energetics in the way that I do, and certainly not in that firm, although it was very spiritually open in many ways. But I could see and feel a shift happening. And I remember very clearly when I was driving down the road, I know exactly where I was when I heard a voice say to me, my contract with this company was now done. And I knew it would happen over a period of time. I knew the date. I knew it all. It's the beauty of being intuitive. I knew everything that was coming. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. And it unfolded exactly as my intuition had said, exactly as I had imagined it would. Details obviously were a little bit different. I didn't expect the company itself to be acquired and split. That was not in my intuitive guidance, but the dates were there clear as day. And so where I am right now is in this space, this liminal space between a corporate career that is winding down and an entrepreneurial, creative entrepreneurial journey that is blooming. Maybe not even blooming. The seeds like popped up above the soil. I'll say that's where I am. So as I'm going through this, what I'm going to call a quantum leap in my career, there's a lot of healing and work and processing and limiting beliefs that are coming up. There is this interesting subcurrent of thoughts that say, but what if it happens like it did last time? What if we don't figure out the sales and the marketing? What if we can't make this financially sustainable? What if what if, what if? And every time that voice comes up, I'm allowing it to be heard, but I'm not clinging to it. I'm not giving it any more energy than its own presence because I know that I'm not the person that I was 8 years ago, or even 4 years ago, or to be honest, even 4 days ago. I have learned and grown so much as an individual and as a leader that I won't have the same experience. It is impossible in all ways, shapes, and forms. Not only am I different, but my environment is different. My skills are different. My experience is different. This time around will be different. And so the things that I'm doing right now to help normalize, to help embody this massive transition, going from a leadership position for a fractional accounting firm to becoming a writer, the things that I'm doing are mindset work, nervous system regulation, subconscious reprogramming, and exploring the practices that are going to help me embody the identity of being a writer. And I'm having these little breakthroughs. I have these little stories that are coming up, items around connection. That's been really alive. And I've written a little bit about that on the diaries. But there's also this, the money work, also very alive. I haven't written about that much, but I'm sure I will at some point. But really, the thing that was most revealing most recently that I hadn't thought of before was previously writing was a hobby. And I treated it as such. I wrote every single day for at least an hour. Just to give you a sense, I wrote 1,918 pages in the last 12 months in my journals. That's the equivalent of 5.5 books. And that's just what was in my journals. That's not even counting what was in the diaries or anything else. So it has been this place where I get to escape to, where I get to go and discover who I am, where I get to have these conversations that I'm not having in the real world. And now I'm making it my career. And there's part of me that's like, are we sure? Is this really what we want? Are we going to be able to do it? Who's going to want to read this? Who's going to want to be able to listen to this? And yet, every ounce of my soul said someone. And even if it's one person, which I'm sure it won't be, that person's enough. And so the other thing that's kind of coming into play through all of this is I've led from my masculine. I am really good at getting shit done. I'm really good at goals. I'm really good at routines. I'm really good at rituals. I'm really good at follow through. And it also takes a lot of energy for me. I'm a projector if you follow human design. And so there is this very soft, sweet, sensitive side of me that's been burned out from the last 4 years, a different type of burnout than the previous 4 years. And wanting to approach this time around differently. I don't want to recreate the parts of my career that felt like a prison. I don't want to recreate the parts of how I was operating that felt like they were tampering down my freedom, which is one of my core values. I don't want to fill my calendar with meetings. That doesn't sound fun to me. So, as I'm moving into this career transition, I'm also flipping the script from being a masculine led creator to a feminine led creative. And I don't know, maybe this is just who I am, but layering transformations on top of transformations is probably not advised. But I'm also not a beginner at transformation. I have been transforming into truth over and over and over again, initiations into authenticity for my entire life. I've moved across the country multiple times. I have transitioned careers multiple times. I've had long-term relationships that have transitioned multiple times. I've recreated myself time and time again. It's what I do. It's my Scorpio sun. And so I share this with you just to give you a little bit more background about what I'm writing, what I'll be speaking about, and why. Because I don't want to build a writing career that feels like work. I want to say that I effectively retired and that everything I do from this point on is because it lights up my soul. And yes, I get it. There are moments that are going to require effort, but effort is different than selling your soul. Effort is devotion to the message, to life, to my soul's expression. And I'm committed to that. And so, whether you are in the midst of a transition yourself, or maybe reflecting on one, or planning for one, I want to invite you to just take a few moments and write down, what is this quantum leap that you're currently experiencing? What is this thing that you're moving from? And what are you moving to? What are you leaving behind? And what are you taking with you? Or maybe what are you starting for the first time? If you've been following along, you know that I speak from the heart. I came here with this mission to speak honestly, truthfully, and transparently. And there have been several times that I think, why me? Why couldn't I have picked something easier? And yet, this is what makes me feel alive. This is what brings me joy. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I hope that you found something in it that was resonant for you. And I appreciate you being here for me. There's going to be plenty more of transformation and behind the scenes coming. And I'm also looking to start doing some interviews and bringing on some guests, people who, like me, live in the world of transformation, healing, and awakening. So feel free to follow along because there will be more of that as well. Thank you for listening to the Lightworker Diaries. If something stirred in you today, take a breath and let it land. To go deeper, you can subscribe to the written diaries on Substack. You'll find a link in the show notes. Until next time, be true to you.